welcome in, guys. K Dog's Kennel coming at you alongside Holly's Adventures for our weekly NFL picks. We're doing week.
Week 14.
I was gonna say I have week 15 written down, but I'm pretty sure it's week 14. So that's just been my my week. Those that do not know, I apologize. I have not been on the last couple days. It has been a very chaotic couple days for me off of streaming. If you are kind of wondering why, check the community tab and you will see why. I posted a picture of why I've been away the last couple of days. We got everything finalized with the car today, so we are back. Starting tomorrow, I should be back on a normal schedule now that everything is done with the new car. And we have a kitty sighting. So I know Ollie's got dinner going, and then I know she's got to get to bed a little bit before she goes to work. I got to work early in the morning, so
Or
we're gonna jump. Yeah, we're gonna jump right into picks. Last week, yours truly went 8-5 on the week, bringing the total to 108-69 on the year. Holly's Adventures went 7-6 last week, bringing her total to 95-66 on the year. So we have. I think we only have two teams on a bye this week. We have the Cardinals and the Commanders on a bye.
yeah,
This should be the end of the bye weeks. If
memory
yeah,
serves.
yeah, it should be. At least I thought it was going to be the end of the bye weeks a couple weeks ago, but it wasn't. But in any event, everybody else is in action. We kick things off on Thursday night, tomorrow night, with the 2-10 New England Patriots taking on the 7-5 Pittsburgh Steelers. This is kind of a lost season for New England at this point in time. The Steelers, they're a little banged up. Kenny Pickett is going to be out. I'm assuming he's not going to play this week. I know he's dealing with an injury. I do not. Whether it's Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Big Baby J is in the comments. What's up, brother? How are you? Whether it's Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, New England really just doesn't have an identity right now, other than they're a garbage team this year. And I know we've talked the last couple of weeks. This could be the end of Bill Belichick. It's going to be interesting to see how that folds out in the offseason. With the Patriots not having an identity, Pittsburgh has had ups and downs, but I think this just comes down to who is the better team, and I think you match these two up. I got to go with Pittsburgh at home in this one.
Yeah, I mean, overall, Pittsburgh is not the greatest team, but they're better than the Patriots. So I'm gonna have to go with Pittsburgh on this one.
Yeah, I think that. Like I said, it's pretty much a lost season.
Come on, Earl.
I'm good at trying to figure out this live stream. Yeah, no, Big Baby has talked about he's going to be doing live streams, which you once you get going on that, man, we will. I'm sure Holly, I'll pop in. I'll pop in. We'll have a grand old time. Yeah, I was kind of the same way. Like live streaming, it's like once getting off the hardest part is getting off the ground with it, and once you do, then you're golden.
Yeah.
Well, come on, Kiris. We've already had a Holly cat sighting. Oh,
I stream through my laptop through OBS, so
yeah, Kiris.
If I videos, I actually pause videos and stuff. Big Baby, if you want, I will do kind of like a how-to video with us.
Honey.
I'm not the greatest with it, but it'll be hopefully something worth looking at. So I'll probably look at doing that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I've got OBS myself on my computer. I don't ever stream on my computer just because half the time I can't, other than, I record these via my phone because it's like I just hit a button and it's like, ooh, boom. Yo, Mindless Meat is in the chat as well. Welcome in, my friend. What, Karis? Karis is being very vocal tonight. Can I get back into this? Huh? All right, we move on into Sunday. We have the 5-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 6-6 Atlanta Falcons. Holy crap on a cracker. The Falcons actually won this week, and we actually picked Atlanta for the first time. Atlanta has not let me down this year. This one is becomes interesting because Atlanta technically leads the NFC South right now, but a win for Tampa Bay will put the Bucs right up there. I think I can't roll the dice on Atlanta 2 weeks in a row. just on how wishy washy they've been.
Bucks
The
are the same
Bucks,
way. That's what's
yeah,
bad.
yeah, the Bucks was like, this is literally a coin flip. Like I said, as much as Atlanta has let me down, like I said, this is a throw of the dice, but I'm gonna take Tampa Bay on the road. I cannot I can't trust Atlanta 2 weeks in a row. I know, Karis, I feel the same way.
Okay, wait.
Well, honey.
Okay, so heads we're going for Atlanta, tails we're going for
She's literally gonna flip a coin.
we're going with Tampa Bay.
Flip of the coin. Gareth, I cannot see the comments, honey. Congrats to your wife on the new car. Hey, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. It is we this whole thing from her accident. Those that don't know, she got hit on right off the interstate where we live. We have a bridge and whatnot, and she got hit. She was involved in a three-car accident, which her car suffered the least amount of damage, but it got enough damage to where the wife wanted to trade it in, and then the dealership that is here in our town had a very limited supply of Chevy Trax. Actually, they had, I think, 5 of them that got delivered, and the gentleman that we dealt with kind of put it on hold for her because he knew it was just all a matter of just talking the numbers and getting it down. And I told her flat out, I said, as long as we can afford it, you want to do it. And we both kind of got emotional because, like I said, neither one of us have ever had a new car, like a brand new car. That thing had 26 miles when we drove off the parking lot. That's a big deal. But yeah, we're thrilled with it. Like I said, I know she's been shopping for seat covers all day. She's like a kid in a candy store. I can't blame her. Like I said, I'm thrilled. Maybe since I'm live streaming tomorrow, hit or miss. Well, I work till
Sorry,
2, and then I had to take mine into the shop, and the rental I have is the electric version of it. Holy crap, nice!
mine.
I know, Karis.
I have a hybrid of the Toyota Highlander, which I love the hybrids.
Yeah, I've never had an electric car. I know the bolts are kind of popular. There's a lot of bolts on the floor on the sales floor. Like I just nothing against them. I just don't know the first thing about it. As soon as around, I'll try to stop by depending on time. Yeah, I'll definitely. Like I said, I work till 2. I always get notified. Um, like when Big Baby makes a video or something, I get an alert that.
Mine's all set to where all of y'all, whenever y'all post a video or go live or whatnot, I get the notification for it. So
Yeah, yeah. I try to stay up on that. Just that way, if I just pop in for if especially if I'm at work, I can only usually pop in here and there. But I at least try to like, hey guys, I'm here kind of thing. Um, but yeah. No, watch out, Karis. Can't see the next game, Karis. Watch out. All right. Next up, we have the 9-3 Detroit Lions taking on the 4-8 Chicago Bears. The bolt is nice. It has some odd features. Yeah, I mean, the bolt's too small for me. I mean, like I said, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'3". I got long legs, so it's like I need something that's got a little bit of room. Um, but as much as I'd like to say that Green Bay, which we'll talk a lot more about Green Bay here in the Monday night game, I think this is still the Lions' division to win. I think other than a cataclysmic meltdown from Detroit, they're going to end up winning this division.
all right,
The Bears, again, the Bears are the Bears. Everybody had talked about, oh, the Bears. Justin Fields is so great. All he needs is a number one receiver, and they went and they got that with DJ Moore. And don't get me wrong, they've had flashes, but the Bears are exactly who the Bears have been the last several years. They're the cellar dwellers right now, and it's Detroit. They had a big win over the Saints last week, and I look for them to continue the momentum, inch a little bit closer to that division title. We're getting into the time of the year where divisions are going to start being won. Playoff seeding starts actually starting next week. I am going to compile a list of the seating as it stands for that current week for who's in, who's out or well, more or less who is in. And I will be keeping track of that all the way, obviously, until the playoffs start in January. Because it's gonna flip and flop. It does every year. I think even this point in the season, it's the both playoff races. Especially seats 4 through 7 are pretty well wide open. So, but I'm going to keep track of that starting next week. I'll include that also down in the comments, or I'm sorry, the video description as well. Excel sheet fun, but as far as this game, like I said, the Bears are who they have been the last couple of years. Got to roll with momentum here. I'm going to take Detroit on the road and go
Yeah,
with the Lions.
they have the momentum. I got to go with Detroit. The Bears are. I think they just got lucky the past couple of games. So, meh,
Meh, meh.
meh, meh.
Yeah. Next up, we this one's kind of interesting. We have the 7-5 Indianapolis Colts. Excuse me, taking on the 6-6 Cincinnati Bengals. Jake Browning, come on down. Took over for the injured Joe Burrow a couple weeks ago. Actually led the Bengals to a comeback win in overtime over Jacksonville. Looked actually very impressive. Jacksonville. Actually, we're going to be talking about Jacksonville next. But Jake Browning, decent, not exceptional. And this is actually I have a couple games where I'm gonna reach. I'm gonna reach extensively. I think this game can go either way. One of the games where I say home field plays a factor, and I'm going to take the Bengals at home. Maybe a little bit of an upset. The Colts, they've been another team. It's hard to get a read on them. It's hard to get a base reading on them because it's like they do well one week, they do poorly the next. But I think the Bengals, even if they get into the playoffs with Joe Burrow not being, he's out for the year with that wrist injury he suffered 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't think that I don't think Jake Browning is going to take them anywhere per se, but I think the Bengals could sneak into the playoffs. But like I said, call it an upset if you will. I'm rolling the dice. I'm going to take Cincy at home in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Cincy has a chance to be in wild card contenders, but as far as going anywhere with the playoffs, I don't think so. Colts, they're it's a hit and miss with the Colts, so it's kind of hard to say I want to go with the Colts because of their per se track record, but at the same time, I want to go with Cincinnati, so that's who I'm going to roll with is Cincinnati.
All right, Cincinnati. It is. Yo, Red Mario, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Red Mario. Work has just been crazy this week, so I'm hit and miss with everything with holidays, with retail and all that, and
Yeah.
can definitely attest with working in retail and dealing with the holidays. It's a hot mess.
Yeah, it really is, and I mean, I don't want to say for us retail workers and whatnot. It's just going to get worse as the weeks go on, but
Mm.
we're almost through it. We got 3 more weeks. All right. Oh, look, we got Cincinnati. All right. Next up, speaking of the Jaguars, the 8-4 Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the 7-5 Cleveland Browns. Big question mark coming into this game is obviously the status of Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who left Monday's game with an injured ankle. From what I have written down, Lawrence has a high grade ankle sprain, could miss 2 to 3 weeks. As a potential spam number is calling me. Nice try. Yeah, I always love that. Potential spam. Yep, that's going to make me answer the phone.
You know what?
Um,
Same number that calls me multiple times. I'll pick it up and go, I don't know where to hide the body and hurry up and hang up.
that's too good. I would actually start doing that. Um, but for this one, it's tough, especially if Trevor Lawrence is going to be out. Jacksonville and Houston jockeying for that AFC South title. The Browns, they have their own issues at quarterback. They've got Deshaun Watson, who is still out. I think the Jaguars backup, I don't know much about him, but I think with the Browns defense, the way it's been, again, this is a game because of injuries. This game could go either way. That's why for me personally, I'm leaning, and I'm gonna roll with the Browns at home. I'm gonna. It's gonna be a close game, but like I said, the big asterisk in this game is going to be Trevor Lawrence significantly missing time, and like I said, that's going to be detrimental to Jacksonville in the long run, especially like I said with them, getting either one of the top. They're in actually the Jaguars are in contention for that number one seed overall. How much is Trevor Lawrence's injury going to potentially affect Jacksonville's chances of getting that? Like I said, that being said, this is a game I'm literally just because of the home team. If this was in Jacksonville, I'd take Jacksonville. But this, like I said, with the Bengals and Colts, I'm going to roll with the home team and take Cleveland. Like I said, upset, I don't know, but
I
that's what I'm rolling with.
tough. This is going to be tough. Both teams are doing fairly well, um, but I think Jacksonville overall. Me personally, I think has the better chance at this game, so I'm going to roll with Jacksonville.
Ooh. Yeah, actually, kind of went. I reached on a couple of these games this week, but like I said, it's just all right. Next up, we have an NFC South matchup. The 1-11 Carolina Panthers, who I think are now officially eliminated from contention with their loss last week, taking on the 5-7 New Orleans Saints. What are you chasing here? I think you're chasing your own shadow. Taking on the 5-7 New Orleans Saints. The Panthers, good God, this has just been a really bad year for them. In contention, if you will, to get the number one pick, which actually would go to the Bears, I think, based on that DJ Moore trade.
I think so.
Maybe. So, holy crap, the Bears could have the number one pick in the draft next year or this upcoming year. I just realized that. But the Panthers are just a big old plate of liquid garbage. Nothing really. I want to say they're going to be due for a win. I just don't think it's going to come against New Orleans. The
I
Saints.
don't know.
Yeah,
I,
it's again, it's tough. A lot of these games are really tough. Yeah, this another. I look for it to be a close game, but again, I'm rolling the dice on the home team, and I'm going to take the Saints at home.
yeah. I mean, I really want to go with Carolina on this one, but
I thought about it.
but I can't see it. I really can't. I mean, especially with New Orleans being at home, it's going to be loud in that stadium, and
Oh yeah,
the I still call it the Superdome because that's what I know it as is the Superdome, not the Caesar Dome, but the Superdome. It echoes in there. I've been in there once, and it echoes. So, um, it's going to get loud and it's going to get rowdy. So, give me the Saints.
yeah. I think that I've never been down there. I think the furthest down south I've traveled is like the likes of Mississippi, but I just to see it. The biggest thing about New Orleans, 2005 Hurricane Katrina hit, which just devastated
They,
the city of New Orleans. It was really hard just to see the levees breaking and just see the damage it did, even to the Superdome, and to see the Saints come out that first game after they were able to play in the Superdome. And if I remember right, they played the Falcons. And it was a block punt that was returned for a touchdown in the first game, and the crowd just went absolutely bananas. It was really cool to see. Like I said, especially after everything that New Orleans had been through that year. But yeah, no, kind of like Seattle. I still call it. Was it QS Field? I think it's called something different now. But Seattle Stadium can get really loud. But when you're in a dome, it can definitely get loud.
oh
Like I said, Bryce Young hasn't really shown me anything worthwhile. Maybe he'll be better in his sophomore year, but we'll see how it plays out. We both got the Saints there. Next up, the 7-5 Houston Texans taking on the 4-8 New York Jets. Uh, the Jets going back to Zach Wilson as their starter. Aaron Rodgers still not medically cleared. Rumor has it he is aiming to return Christmas Eve. If I am the Jets, you're
I
4-8. You're on the outside looking in. If the Jets were in contention, okay, fine. But my thing is a torn Achilles. That's nothing to just oh yeah, okay. I think I feel okay to play. If the Jets were in contention, I say, you know what? If he wants to come back, let him come back. This has kind of been a wash season for the Jets. Rumor has it they're going to be pursuing Devontae Adams in a trade with the Raiders in the offseason because of Aaron Rodgers. So, maybe next year, a healthy Aaron Rodgers, if they go for Devontae Adams, they'll be, a better team. The Texans, yeah, they've been a little inconsistent, but the one thing that has been consistent with the Texans is the play of quarterback CJ Stroud. The Texans have found their man, and honestly, I think they got the steal in the draft. Getting Stroud over Bryce Young. Now, that being said, the Texans are also embroiled, as I mentioned, with Jacksonville for that AFC South title. Division winner, obviously getting one of the top four seeds and will host a playoff game. Um, that being said, like I said, the Jets, I don't trust Zach Wilson as far as I can throw him. That once vaunted Jets defense is not as vaunted as it once was. And the way CJ Stroud's been playing, no doubt, offensive rookie of the year, in my opinion. I look for the Texans to roll in this one. I'm going to take Houston on the road.
Yeah, I got to agree. And then I'm going to go back real quick on with Aaron Rodgers. If the Jets are smart, and just my opinion, like you said, outsider looking in, they should hold Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the year, regardless of if he says I'm good to go, I'm medically cleared. Make him sit out the rest of the season. That way, he fully is healed come next year.
Right.
But give
Well,
me
a lot of people, they talk about, oh, there's no way he can recover from this injury so quick. You got to think, Aaron Rodgers got hurt in week 1, 4 plays into the season. It's been
that's
14. It's been 14 weeks. Timetable for an Achilles surgery heal is anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks.
depending
So
on the injury too,
so
not
it's
like how
not. Yeah,
severe.
it seems like it hasn't been that long, but you got to think it's been almost 2 months,
Yeah,
or actually almost 3 months rather, since he got hurt. So I mean, he's kind of right in the time frame. But I just, like I said, I'm with you. Sit him out and let him work in the off season. This is not going to be Aaron Rodgers' last hurrah. He's going to be back next year. Um,
no,
like it's unfortunate what happened to him. Yes, he had a messy split from Green Bay, kind of like Brett Favre did a number of years ago. But I don't wish ill will on the guy. I it's it is what it is. But yeah, the Jets. Yeah, it's a lost season for the Jets.
it,
Keep Aaron Rodgers on, keep him on the bench. Let him mentor Zach Wilson because honestly, come next year, I don't think Zach Wilson's even going to be around. So, but
no.
hey,
Give me
uh, uh, Houston. All right. Next up, we have the 6-6 LA Rams taking on the 9-3 Baltimore Ravens. Um, Rams, one of many 6-6 teams on the year. Currently, in the hunt for the playoffs. I think they're right now looking at seeding. They're on the outside looking in. Taking on a red hot Ravens team, despite the injuries that Baltimore has had this year, they've still compiled a 9-3 record. They sit atop the AFC North. With injuries to Cincinnati and Cleveland, I think the Ravens are the front runner to win that division. And even I think the front runners in this game. I just think the Ravens on paper and on the field are a better team than the Rams. I think the Rams are a little bit too inconsistent. I think Lamar Jackson outduels Matthew Stafford. Give me the Ravens at home.
yeah, I got to agree all the way around. I mean, whether it be on paper or on the field, the Ravens have just shown overall fantasticness. That didn't sound right at all coming out. You get where I'm coming
Oh
coming.
yeah,
At. LA has just been completely hit or miss when it comes to but running both sides of the ball, whether it be offense or defense. So I got to go with Baltimore on this one.
yeah. Next up, we have the 6-6 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 5-7 almost LA Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. In a game, again, that can go either way. Kirk Cousins obviously went down for Minnesota a few weeks ago with an Achilles injury. Seems like Achilles injuries are the norm this season. Taking on a Raiders team that just, again, the Raiders are just one of those teams you can't. It's hard to get a read on them. They're so inconsistent, it's hard. Even in games they should win, they somehow lose. It's really hard to pinpoint where the Raiders are going right now. Josh Dobbs coming on the scene has done fairly well. I don't think this is going to be a flash in the pan game where it's going to be high scoring or whatnot. But I do like Minnesota. I think Minnesota has a better I think they have better playmakers. Yes, Justin Jefferson is out, but I mean they have KJ Osborne, they have TJ Hawkinson, they have other than Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, the Raiders really don't have a lot of big name, big caliber people.
Mm.
Normally, I would say in a team of close you know closely matched teams, I'd take the home team, but in this case, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to take Minnesota on the road.
Yeah, I think didn't they lose their Minnesota lose their last game last week?
Actually, Minnesota was on a bye last week, but I
Okay.
do think they did. They might have lost.
Last one though, the last game they did play, and I can't remember who they played, but it was like a fluke. I really thought it was like a fluke game that they should have won that game. So I think this is going to be the comeback game that they need
Mm.
against the Raiders. The Raiders, I mean, have a shot. I mean, I'm not saying that they're completely out for the game, but I think as far as inconsistency goes, uh, give me the Vikings.
Vikings. Mindless has to have to head in from break. So, all right, Mindless, take care, brother. Thank you guys. Also, got 2 thumbs up. Also, so thank you guys so very much. That does help spread not only my channel but Holly's as well. So thank you guys very very much for that. Next up, we have the 6-6 Seattle Seahawks taking on the 9-3 San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks right in the middle of that NFC playoff hunt, taking on undoubtedly the hottest team in football right now in the San Francisco 49ers. They absolutely obliterated Philadelphia last week, and it wasn't even a close game from the word go. San Francisco dominated the supposed best team in the NFC. I think the Eagles got exposed. The Eagles, we'll talk about here in just a minute. They play the Sunday night game, but the 49ers, I think, are the best team in the NFC right now. I think they showed it last week against Philadelphia. Um, the Seahawks play the 49ers tough every single time, it seems, but I think the Niners are in absolute perfect position to win that NFC West. Close game. I think Seattle tries to keep it close, but I like it's really hard, regardless
So,
of who the 49ers are playing. It's really hard to go against San Francisco right now. So I'm going to take the 49ers at home.
yeah, I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. And then I'm going to go back to that game with against Philadelphia and the 49ers. Uh, there was talk on Facebook because I'm one of the Dallas groups I follow was going back and saying that they were showing the score where we lost, how we lost against the 49ers. It was 10 to whatever it was. And then somebody goes, oh, here's a what to come with the 49ers and the Eagles because of how blowout that game was. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I really think the 49ers have this one in the bag. I mean, like, it's going to be a close game, but I don't see it being a blowout game. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, I was expecting it to be a close game against the Eagles, but look at what happened there.
Right. Game of the week turned out into blowout of the week
Yeah.
in that regard. Next up, we have the 6-6 Buffalo Bills taking on the 8-4 Kansas City Chiefs. A few weeks ago, I would have said this would have been a really, really good game. Buffalo has really struggled the last several weeks. Kansas City coming off of a loss to Green Bay last Sunday night, which like I said, we'll talk about Green Bay here in a bit. But the way Buffalo has played, and I think Kansas City, going into Lambeau Field and getting beat by Green Bay, I think it's going to put a chip on Patrick Mahomes' shoulder. And right now the Bills are on the outside looking in. So I mean, if you're looking at these teams, which one needs the win? Buffalo needs the win more to solidify their chances to get to the playoffs more than Kansas City. But I honestly think the Chiefs are a better team. Coming off of a loss, Patrick Mahomes tends to play better coming off of a loss, and the fact that they're at home, that's all the more reason I need. I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. Close game. They always have high scoring affairs. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. But like I said, I just think Kansas City is the better team. So I'm going to roll with the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Yeah. Okay. Mine just like went completely blank. Who are they playing again?
It's Buffalo in
That's right.
Kansas City.
I, it's been one of those days. I hadn't even taken a nap, which that's bad. I went in at 10 o'clock last night.
Oh, right.
Mine's like completely melted. I, I think Buffalo is hungry for a win, but I don't think they're strong enough to come up against Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. So give me the Kansas City.
All right. On next up, we have the 6-6 Denver Broncos taking on the 5-7 LA Chargers in a key AFC West battle. Now, again, a few weeks ago, this would have been a laughing stock. Broncos, however, have won 5 of their last 6 games to kind of put themselves into that playoff picture, so to speak. Broncos got beat last week, but playing a Chargers team that is really not as bad as their 5-7 record shows. When you compare these teams, I think LA is the better team. I think they have better players. I think Justin Herbert is better than Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson, as good as he is, he's still good. He's not elite like he was, a few years ago, but he's still good enough to get the job done. Close game. Again, roll the dice, but I've got to go with the home team. I'm going to take the Chargers at home to kind of tighten up that race in the AFC.
You know, yeah, yeah, we're gonna split here because I think, and this is me thinking because what happens when I think things go wrong. I really have the saying that the Broncos, the Broncos or the Colts. I
Broncos,
get them mixed up all the times.
Broncos and Chargers. Yeah, because they're both horses. So
I think with Denver, I think they're coming off of winning 5 out of their 6 games is going to give them that motivation. Not saying the Chargers aren't going to, because the Chargers are a hit and miss team. We've seen that all season long, but I'm going to split off here. I'm going to go with Denver.
I like it. We got a couple differences this week. Usually we have like one, but yeah, we got a couple differences here. Going into what should be a jewel of a Sunday night game, the 10-2 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 9-3 Dallas Cowboys. Simply put, this is Dallas's Super Bowl. Last time these two teams played, I honestly, and a lot of other people felt that the Cowboys got robbed. And I think it's really hard not to think that if you watched how that game played out. I think the 49ers exposed Philadelphia last week. And honestly, as good as Dallas has played all year, I think the Cowboys have what it takes to beat the Eagles. Now that it's in Dallas, Philly got the win at home. I think I think Dallas protects home field, if you will. I think that the Cowboys are going to play this game with a little bit of extra, given what happened in that last game they played a few weeks ago. With that being said, like I said, if the 49ers can put up 40 plus points, I'm not saying Dallas is going to put 40 plus points on them, but I think that Dallas can match Philadelphia step for step. And I think with that being said, like I said, Dallas is going to play this game with a chip on their shoulder. Much like I did the last time they played, I'm going to roll with Dallas. I think Dallas has something to prove, and especially with Philadelphia coming off that loss to San Francisco, Philadelphia is very vulnerable right now. And I think if the Cowboys are going to capitalize on that, this is going to be the perfect time to do it, especially, these two teams being a game apart in the NFC East.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas. Not and the only reason I say I would go for Dallas, they're going to be hungry for a win against Philly. Will you quit putting your face? They're going to be hungry looking for that win against Philly. And then with Philly coming off of that loss against the 49ers, they're going to be looking at what they did wrong there. So they're going to be questioning. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a close game. It really is. But I have to say I have to go with Dallas this time.
Yeah, I think the momentum kind of lies, especially like I said, coming off that last game where a lot of people felt, and rightfully so, the Cowboys got robbed in that
They
game.
had
Like I said,
calls that should have been that weren't called and all this other stuff. It was a big old mess.
yeah, yeah, it's
The
yeah.
refs,
I
let's just put it that way. The NFL refs are under fire.
oh yeah, a lot of scrutiny. Which here in a minute we talk about Green Bay. There was a couple of calls, one that was called on Green Bay, one that went that was not called. That people are say had a adverse effect in that game. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Monday night, for some odd reason, there are two games. The first one is the 4-8 Tennessee Titans taking on the 9-3 Miami Dolphins. To me, this is a mismatch. I think the Dolphins are in every facet better than Tennessee. I think they have a better quarterback. I think they have better wide receivers. I think they have a better run game. Um, like I said, I just think the Titans are overmatched in this game. I like Miami. I'm not gonna really spend a whole lot of time on this. Like I said, I just think Miami is the better team here. So give me Miami in prime time at home.
Yep. I think can't really say too much about either team, but Miami's overall the elite in this game. So give me Miami.
All right. And our final game is the 6-6 Green Bay Packers taking on the 4-8 New York Football Giants. A few weeks ago, Green Bay was dead to rights. They had no identity. They couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Jordan Love, as much as I have scrutinized him all year, as much as I have not been a fan of his this year. Jordan Love has played like a man on a mission the last 4 weeks. The Packers have won four out of the last 5 games. They are now in the 7 seed as we speak for the NFC playoffs. The Packers control their own destiny. They do not play a team above 500 the rest of the season. So again, it's Green Bay's, they hold their own fate, if you will. If they win out, they're in. You know, at the end of the day, I think the Packers have really established themselves as they are the youngest team in the NFL. A few weeks ago, it showed because they were making silly mistakes. They were making boneheaded mistakes. Now, this team with Jordan Love has been playing exceptional the
Mhm.
last couple of weeks. Actually, the last few weeks. The last two, especially, they beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. They beat the Chiefs last week. That's two pretty impressive wins against division leaders. Like I said, it Green Bay hold their own cards. They really, really do. I think if the Packers defense can play like it has been the last 3 or 4 weeks, I really think Green Bay could win out. I'm going to take Green Bay in this game because the Lions, or excuse me, the Giants rather. I don't think the Packers aren't going to catch the Lions with. We have what 4 or 5 weeks left, we have 4 weeks in the regular season. Lions have a 3 game advantage or a 3 game lead. Like I said, I don't think Green Bay is going to catch Detroit, but I do think Green Bay is going to get in as a wild card. Like I said, the way Green Bay has played. To the Giants, to their credit, Daniel Jones out for the year with the ACL injury. Tommy DeVito has stepped in, and he's filled in quite nicely. The Giants are starting to get a little bit of rhythm, but I think just the way Green Bay has been playing, no one has been more critical of Green Bay this year than me. I don't say that because I'm a fan. I just say that because that's what I see. I have been pleasantly surprised as a fan and as just a sports fan with what Green Bay has done these last 4 or 5 weeks. I look for that momentum to continue, and like I said, Green Bay literally holds their own fate in their hands. So that being said, I'm taking Green Bay on there, and it feels good because I haven't picked Green Bay in a number of weeks. But like I said, looking at what they've done the last 5 weeks, they've won 4 out of 5. It's really hard to go against Green Bay and the way that offense is clicking right now.
Right. Now, if you would have asked me this same question a couple weeks ago, I would have picked differently because I would have picked the New York Giants.
Absolutely.
Like you said, they're getting a momentum with Jordan Love. This team has, I don't know if they got a fire lit under their ass or what, but something clicked and they're going with it now. Like you said, they got a chance for the wild card. They may not catch Detroit, but they're sure going to hell try it. So give me Green Bay.
Yeah, you look at, and I kind of mentioned to the Chiefs, there was the hit on Patrick Mahomes that was inbounds, although the refs called unnecessary roughness or roughing the pat, whatever it was. And then in contrast to that, I didn't see the game last week as I had to work early, but I saw the highlights that there was the pass interference on Green Bay that was not called. Not saying that would have been the difference because Patrick Mahomes' Hail Mary came up incomplete. But you touched on it earlier. The referees are going to be under fire this year because there's been several of these games this year. I don't want to say has been decided by the referees, but there's been the call Philadelphia and Dallas a few weeks ago. Dallas should have won that game, but because of the referees' botched calls and lack thereof, they lost. Again, not saying that Kansas City lost because of the missed PI call, but it's definitely been a factor of the refs have played a hand in some of these games this year. But yeah, like I said, as a Packers fan, I am elated at what I'm seeing right now. Jordan Love has just been, the way he's throwing the football into double coverage, and somehow Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs catching those balls. Like I said, it's if Jordan Love can stay where he's at right now, the sky's the limit. Like I said, if Green Bay can get into the playoffs, and I don't say this as a fan, but if Green Bay can get into the playoffs, I think they could be a sneaky, sneaky, sneaky team. I don't think they're ready to beat Philadelphia or San Francisco, but I could definitely see them going in, beating Atlanta or Tampa Bay. Green Bay and Tampa Bay play, I think, either next week or the week after. But, and I could even see them beating Detroit. They got it done on Thanksgiving, But like I said, that is our picks, ladies and gentlemen. So to recap, we have the Steelers over the Patriots, Buccaneers over Buccaneers over the Falcons, Lions over the Bears, Bengals over the Colts. We split on. I've got Cleveland over Jacksonville. Holly has Jacksonville over Cleveland. We have the Saints over the Panthers, the Texans over the Jets, Ravens over the Rams, Vikings over the Raiders, 49ers over the Seahawks, Chiefs over the Bills. We split on I got the Chargers over the Broncos. Holly has the Broncos over the Chargers. We have the Cowboys over the Eagles, the Dolphins over the Titans, and we have the Packers over the Giants. There we go on that. So that is going to wrap up this video. A little bit long, but like I said, we did have a lot of videos. And as I mentioned, we have the Cardinals and the Commanders on a bye week this week, and that should wrap up the bye week. So next week, we should have all 32 teams in action. So that being said, we're gonna sign off here. That way, Holly can eat and go to bed before she has to work, and I'm gonna get to bed since I have to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. So,
Yep.
as always, thank you guys so much, and as always, thank you to Holly's Adventures for joining me. Absolutely have a blast doing this every week, even though this week was a little bit late. Like I said, that was my fault. But anyway, yeah, I know, right? Bad. No. But anyway, subscribe to both of our channels and give this video a thumbs up on both of our behalfs. It does help our channels grow. You guys are members of this community. Join our community. We are building something very, 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 very special, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to catch us in our next respective videos. We're going to sign off, and we'll catch you guys in our next respective videos. Take care.